Good afternoon. I am a researcher at INVALSI and I'm responsible for preschool, the preschool sector, and I'm going to propose to you today a small study that has been done within the National Experimentation for Preschool Self-Evaluation. The report format that we have experimented in preschools, and I'm going to talk about a specific area that I have investigated, which is the profile of Italian preschool teachers. So a little bit of background to this study. We know that preschool matters, and we know this from a lot of research. And this is a widely shared concept nowadays in the scientific community and also among policymakers. However, what is actually quality in early childhood education and care is something less shared. And since decades, scholars internationally debate on the concept of quality in ECC. A lot of literature that is cited here supports the idea that the quality is central in supporting also children's learning outcomes. However, there is still a long way to go in order to ensure that that children have this quality experiences in ECC and in particular in preschool. And especially, we have a long way to comprehend which quality experiences are important for children's growth and most of all, how to measure them. So there are some studies already available in the literature that tell us that structural quality, process quality, and quality of teachers' orientations are the main factors that are affecting children's well-being and learning, also because they are proximal factors to the child, so they are close to the child, and they can have an impact precisely because the quality, for instance, of teachers' interactions with children are something very close to the child and support its development and learning. So preschool teachers constitute a key factor to adequately support children's growth. However, in our country, we do not know about recent studies on this key figure of the preschool system. So my study aims have been in the current study, which is one in a series of in-depth analysis that we are carrying out on the preschool self-evaluation exercise, is to gain a better knowledge of the preschool system as a whole, and in particular, in this particular study, I focus on teachers' characteristics. So the aim is to shed light on the personal characteristics of Italian preschool teachers and on their opinions concerning several questions relative to preschool quality. These analyses are preliminary for other further studies that I have in mind on the determinants of teachers' perceptions of children's learning outcomes and that we want to do in the future. This study is based on the preschool teacher questionnaire, and we collected a lot of them during the experimentation of the preschool self-evaluation format, PSEF in English, but I would say dell'infanzia in Italian, which is a gold mine of data to exploit and that can be used to respond to several research questions on Italian preschool teachers. So, for the time being, my research questions have been centered around their demographic characteristics, most of all, within the sampled preschools of our experimentations. I will tell you something more about that in a minute. So I asked myself, which is the demographic profile of Italian preschool teachers in the first place? We don't know very much about this key figure of the Italian school system. What is their teaching motivation? And what are their future career aspirations? What is the perceived level of teachers' professional satisfaction? And what is their perceived self-efficacy? So these are core questions on this key figure of the Italian preschool system. And according to the type of questions that I asked myself, the methodology is quantitative with descriptive statistics for now on these characteristics and on teachers' opinions that we collected with the preschool teacher questionnaire during the experimentation. So the data used are those collected during the national experimentation of dell'infanzia. And INVALSI collected data on the preschool context, the structural quality, process quality, and quality of preschool teachers' orientations, as well as on children's competences, although this was done with a particular methodology because of the sensitivity of the child outcome assessment in preschool. So we asked preschool teachers how they perceived their children's outcomes. We already published a lot on the experimentation, so if you want to dig into this, you can of course, look at our report. But the data for this particular study have been collected in 2019. Participating preschools are divided into a probabilistic sample of 464 state, municipal, and private, publicly subsidized preschools, paritarie, and an additional 1,364 self-candidate preschools joined the study for a total of 1,828 participating institutions. So a very large study. Teacher questionnaires have been distributed to all teachers participating of the schools participating in the study, in the experimentation. So participating teachers have at least 1 year of experience, and we collected a total of 18,000 plus administrations, questionnaires, of which 4,726 within the sampled preschools. So the current analysis are based upon these teachers within the sampled preschools. Of course, there are lots of more information than the ones that I can give you today, because there are 44 questions in the teacher questionnaires, and some of those have been used also to compose indicators for dell'infanzia. So this is the structure of the preschool teacher questionnaire. I'm going very rapidly on this. We have practically questions on the main dimensions of the dell'infanzia, on the context, on children's outcomes, on processes, educational processes, and also managerial and organizational processes, for a total of 44 questions. So, in terms of results, which is the demographic profile of preschool teachers, we have one major thing is that 99, almost 100% of preschool teachers are female. Not a big surprise. The big surprise is the proportion. Okay, the age is also something of a sort of a surprise, because we have, well, an average age of 52, which is close to other segments of the education system. However, we have a minimum of 22 and a maximum of 82 years old teachers in the system. Of course, this is non-state preschools, of course, but yeah, you know, this is something to consider. Okay. Okay. So, which is their highest education level attained? Well, the vast majority, as you can see from the yellow slices of this pie, so roughly 2/3 of the sample attained a level of education of ISCET 3, that is practically or lower, which is practically the high school diploma or lower. Okay? So this is another important key feature of this particular segment, which is not the same in the other school segments, okay, school levels. So, which is the teaching motivation and future career aspirations that preschool teachers have? And here I am very happy to provide you this pie that shows that almost 100% of the preschool teachers work there not for the remuneration, not because they don't have any alternatives, but because of the passion for working with children and passion for teaching. Okay, this is a key data on the preschool system, which is not the same in the other educational levels. Concerning career aspirations also, we have some interesting results, although just from very simple descriptives. Because preschool teachers don't seem very interested into the blue bars. I hope they are blue here. Yes. They don't seem to be so much interested in leadership, in attaining a school leadership position. You have to look at the last line here, and almost 20% of the preschool teachers would like to be assigned a better position within my school, possibly middle management positions, okay? So this is another interesting one because they don't want to change to go to another school, they don't want to work for another non-scholastic sector, another sector. No, they would like, they are humble, I would say, if I can underline this trait with this data. Their overall and specific levels of professional satisfaction is also a big surprise. Not so big for me that I know the sector, but maybe for people that don't know the preschool sector. This is a surprise. The overall satisfaction for their job is very high. You can see that only 1.5% is, well, kind of low, not satisfied, kind of low in the satisfaction. So the overwhelming majority of preschool teachers are good, think they have a good or very good level of satisfaction for their job. And this is a treasure. I will underline this. And not surprisingly, they are very satisfied, no negative responses here in the second line, with their work with children. They chose to work with children and they are very satisfied to work with them, okay? As well as in this type of work, particularly. I don't know of similar data, unfortunately, in the other levels, but I would say that this is very important. What is something that they are dissatisfied or less satisfied about the profession? Substantially, well, the last parts, the last rows of this chart, particularly they're less satisfied and not satisfied at all about their salary. No surprise, they are the least paid teachers in the system. I don't know how many of you know that preschool teachers are the least paid teachers in the entire system, although they do a very delicate work with young children. So, okay, they are not happy about the free time, and they're not happy about the social recognition of the profession, mainly. Okay. What is their perceived self-efficacy? Well, unfortunately, I don't know if you can read. Yes, perhaps. Yes, but they're very, very positive, I would say, on the fact that they are able to make themselves understood with children with clear and plain language. Very satisfied about this relationship, communication with children. They are satisfied also, they perceive self-efficacy in establishing clear routines for children to run activities smoothly, and so on. They can support children's creativity, and they're able to collaborate with colleagues. And they are a little bit less, they perceive less self-efficacy in the bottom part of this chart. So unable to capitalize on the technological innovations is something that they cannot really do. And this, I have to remind you that this data were collected prior to the pandemic. During the pandemic, they had to force themselves to use technology, so there might be some changes now. They don't perceive to be as efficacious as in communicating, also in working with the most difficult children. Okay, working with difficult children is something they are less secure about. Okay, so synthesizing, because I have I think 2 minutes. Okay. Preschool teachers are almost exclusively females, so the feminization of the profession is particularly pronounced in Italian preschool, which is something different compared to other education systems. Approximately 75% of staff are 46 years old or older, with mean age 52. No need to comment this data, I think. Over 2/3 of staff hold a level of education that is the diploma or less, while only 20% hold a university degree. An overwhelming majority declares that their first motivation to become teachers is their passion, and this is something really important. In terms of career aspirations, approximately 20% would like to take a middle management role in the school, and the vast majority don't think to become a school leader or a territorial coordinator. Their overall satisfaction is quite high, and teachers' self-efficacy is particularly high in communicating with children and establishing routines, and lower with working with children in difficulty and with technology. So provisional conclusions, because I have to do a lot of more analysis and next steps. Although only descriptive and partial, these data give a wealth of information on preschool teachers and tell an interesting story already about them. National data show that preschool teachers are passionate about their work and are intrinsically motivated to their profession. This is something really to treasure, also for self-evaluation exercise and activities within the national evaluation system. According to INVALSI data, preschool self-evaluated the quality very positively, and the teaching staff may be well considered the first ingredient of such quality. Considering their low level of education, there is room for improvement. Especially, they could be involved in solid in-service teacher training to support especially their awareness of the importance of their work with children for children's well-being, development, and learning. We have some qualitative data from our own study on learning to learn going in that direction, that more awareness of their importance needs to be a theme for their teacher training. Unfortunately, there are no international comparative data available because Italy did not participate in the TALIS Start Strong survey, but this could be something to look at in the future. And next steps for me include additional analysis on this data of the preschool self-evaluation exercise in order to dig into other aspects of the teaching profession, such as classroom practices, which have not so far been analyzed for the national experimentation. So thank you very much, and I'm open to your questions.